Hi, I'm Steve O'Connor, the convener of the National Judging Panel for the Planning Excellence Awards. It's been my pleasure to be involved in a major review of all the award categories over the last couple of years. This review process culminated in a report going to the National Board of the Planning Institute of Australia, who have endorsed new categories to be introduced into the 2021 awards. I'm here to give you a bit of an explanation about that review process and what those new categories are, and I'll also talk about the categories that have been retained. Firstly, the review process. It was an extensive review that not only looked at what some of our sister institutes were doing all around the world, so we looked at what the Royal Town Planning Institute was doing in the UK, the Canadian Institute of Planners, the American Association of Planners, and our friends across the ditch in New Zealand, the New Zealand Planning Institute. We looked at what sort of categories they've come up with, and on the basis of that and a lot of input from past judges of both at the divisional level and at the national level, we've come up with 12 categories, and 6 of those, I'm very pleased to say, are new categories that haven't existed before. The new planning categories that have been introduced for the first time in 2021 are Strategic Planning Project Award, Climate Change and Resilience Award, the Community Wellbeing and Diversity Award, the Stakeholder Engagement Award, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Planning Award, and Technology and Digital Innovation Award. The 6 that we've retained are the Planning Champion Award, the Planning Research Award, Young Planner of the Year, the Great Place Award, Tertiary Student Project Award, and the Improving Planning Processes Award. Now, I'd just like to say a little about why each of those new award categories were introduced. If I start with the Strategic Planning Award, the Planning Institute is very keen to elevate the importance of strategic planning, so we thought it was only appropriate to give this part of the whole planning process elevated status, and we introduced, therefore, an award focused on strategic planning. The second new award category is the Climate Change and Resilience Award. As I'm sure everyone is aware, this is absolutely a top priority for the Planning Institute, and to have an award that illustrates and demonstrates best practice in terms of climate change and resilience is absolutely important. The third new category is the Community Wellbeing and Diversity Award. And in a time like we're currently experiencing with the global pandemic, we have to be really conscious of all sectors of the community, and particularly those most at risk, and embracing diversity. So again, having an award for that category is seen as very important. The fourth category we've introduced is the Stakeholder Engagement Award. Now, there was a previous category that had community planning and engagement, but we've highlighted the Stakeholder Engagement Award to really focus on the engagement process and how important that is and how that can enhance planning outcomes. The fifth category, new category, is the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Planning Award. Late last year, the Planning Institute amended its constitution to introduce as one of its objectives to promote Indigenous planning. And we thought no better way to do this than to have an award that puts the best examples forward of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander planning. And finally, the Technology and Digital Innovation Award. In our current circumstances where we are facing digital disruption on a daily basis, it's so important that planning embraces the opportunities that the new digital platforms provide, how we can mine big data, etc. And so therefore having an award that recognises that and promotes it is seen as absolutely a high priority. So I'd like to just run through each of those categories just so you have a good understanding of what constitutes an appropriate nomination for each category. The Strategic Planning Project Award. This award recognises an outstanding strategic planning project, which includes regional plans, structure plans, master plans, infrastructure plans, planning schemes, and the like. The award is presented to projects that demonstrate vision and innovation. Projects can range in size and scale and should advance the practice of strategic planning with broad application. Nominated projects should foster efficient and effective outcomes, be genuinely strategic, provide leadership, be responsive to needs, and improve spatial outcomes, and most importantly, be deliverable. The Climate Change and Resilience Award. PIA believes that planning is critical to respond to the changing climate, and that planners must take up the challenge of mitigation and adaptation in their daily work. Innovative approaches to planning can strengthen resilience, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and empower communities. The objective of this award is to highlight the important and varied role planning can play in responding to climate change. It also seeks to strengthen professional knowledge and highlight planning systems improvements required to manage this challenge. The award recognises projects and initiatives that provide outstanding leadership and/or innovation that makes a positive impact on climate change and can be held up as a case study of best practice. The Community Wellbeing and Diversity Award. This award recognises initiatives that achieve outstanding social sustainability outcomes. It will recognise initiatives that support the health, well-being and diversity of the community and enhance social outcomes. This award recognises the role of planning in improving access to social infrastructure. The award will celebrate great social planning that assists and supports community cohesion, safety, and the culture of diversity. It will be awarded for work that demonstrates how a thorough understanding of the needs, cultural inclusiveness, and aspirations of a community is integral to sound planning and achieving the desired social outcomes. The Stakeholder Engagement Award. This award recognises initiatives and outcomes in implementing best practice public engagement that achieves genuine collaborative outcomes or improved built form planning processes and social outcomes. This award is not about the extent of engagement undertaken, but rather the influence, improvement, and capacity building that was achieved through the engagement process. This award seeks to recognise genuine and meaningful engagement with stakeholders and the broader community. The award illustrates how a neighbourhood, community group, key stakeholder, or any other non-government entity influenced or utilised the planning process to address a specific need or issue within the community. The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Planning Award. This award recognises outstanding Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander planning projects at all scales undertaken with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples or communities which embrace and integrate Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture as a foundation of the project. This award recognises projects and/or initiatives which promote recognition, understanding, appreciation, awareness, and celebrates Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander knowledge, culture, and tradition, and their application to planning and land management. The award also recognises projects which advance or address the needs and aspirations of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples involved in the project. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander planning may take many forms, but at its core is recognition and respect for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's connection to and responsibilities for managing and caring for their country. Technology and Digital Innovation Award. This award recognises the importance of technology and digital innovation in the 21st century. Digital opportunities and adapting technology to assist planning in our changing environment is absolutely crucial. The award recognises the value of digital innovation and technology processes and how it provides for planners, planning authorities, and development entities to improve their decision making. It will also highlight the importance of adapting information to improve processes and practices for communities in the virtual world and the real world. It acknowledges that planning solutions can be tested in the virtual world before being applied to the real world. This award recognises leadership and innovation in many aspects of planning related to smart cities, digital transformation, and managing digital disruption, providing open data to benefit planners and the community to inform better decision making. The Planning Champion Award. This award recognises non-planners, can be a person, a group, or a business organisation, for their advocacy or for making a significant contribution and that has a lasting presence to the urban and regional environment over the last 1 to 2 years. It's awarded to a non-planner who promotes and advocates for good planning outcomes and the value of planning and/or the planning profession to the public. The Planning Research Award. This award recognises an outstanding achievement in planning research. It is awarded for a substantial piece of planning research which makes a significant contribution to the understanding of contemporary issues relating to planning in Australia. The award seeks to recognise work that extends planning debate with emphasis on evidence opposed to opinion. The award will be given to research that is impartial and responds to the evidence before it. Young Planner of the Year Award. This award recognises a young planner who's made an outstanding contribution or achievement. The award recognises the individual's passion, integrity, their involvement in professional institutes and other networks, and their ability to act as a role model. The individual should show strong promise and emerging capabilities in leadership, a good understanding of planning practice and innovation, and/or strategic thinking. The Great Place Award. Great places have a true sense of place and are places that attract people, inspire people, and motivate people. They have a great atmosphere. There are places that people are proud of. It should spark an individual sense of pride and contribute to the overall community well-being. This award recognises achievements on the ground. It sees a plan come to life and result in quality planning outcomes. The place should be a physical place enjoyed by people and communities. The Tertiary Student Project Award. This award recognises outstanding planning work by an individual or group of tertiary students. It is awarded for a substantial project, report, thesis, article, or piece of research which makes a significant contribution to planning. Nominations can address any of the following or a combination of them, related to urban and regional planning, social planning, environmental planning, transport planning, urban design, economic development planning, and planning law. The award will be given to a project completed by students during studies as part of a PIA accredited university program. The Improving Planning Processes Award. This award recognises a significant improvement in planning processes or major planning reform, which leads to good planning outcomes undertaken by a planner, a planning authority, whether it be local, state, or territory, and/or development entities. This award seeks to recognise an initiative that converts a planning policy and strategy into practice, and in doing so, achieves a great planning outcome. It is awarded for organisational arrangements or planning initiatives that have achieved improved planning performance and advanced the public interest. The award seeks to recognise the value adding that occurs through a planning framework or improvements in practice that leads to enhanced development outcomes. The award-winning projects will be ones that contribute to a positive planning culture. It's important to understand what criteria the judges will be using when they look at all the various nominations that will be received. In the process of reviewing the categories, we've also reviewed the criteria that the judges will be using. And for 10 of those 12 categories I've just discussed, there will be a standard set of 5 criteria. I'll just go through what those 5 criteria are very briefly, and then I'll give a bit more explanation. So the 5 criteria that will apply to the vast majority of the categories of awards will be: number 1, originality and innovation; number 2, strategic alignment; number 3, implementation and transferability. Number 4, collaboration. And number 5, quality. So I'll just explain a little about each of those criteria now. Firstly, the originality and innovation criteria. You must demonstrate how the nomination presents a visionary approach or innovative concept to address the specific need or issue. In terms of the second criteria, the strategic alignment, the nominations must address how the nomination aligns with the planning, a matter of local, regional, state, territory, or national significance, and outline how the nomination advances the importance of planning. The third criteria, implementation and transferability. The nomination must demonstrate how it will be implemented or has been successfully implemented and provide a summary of those benefits. It must also outline how the nomination has the potential application for others and how the use of the nomination's elements and methodology can further advance the cause of good planning. The fourth criteria of collaboration, demonstrate how the engagement techniques and methods for the nominated project were appropriate, meaningful, and applicable, and how the techniques contributed to a positive planning outcome. And finally, the fifth criteria, that of quality, the nomination must demonstrate how it's achieved a very high quality outcome. Now, when looking at those criteria and trying to decide which category an individual nomination might fall into, I think it's really useful if you look carefully at what the key strengths of the nomination are and try and align it to each of those 5 criteria that the judges will be using. If you feel that the project you're looking at nominating has particular strengths that relate to those criteria, then those strengths should be really emphasized in the nomination, because that's what the judges will be using when it comes to deciding which categories will end up getting awards or commendations. I've just explained what the 5 criteria are that judges will be using in relation to 10 of the categories of awards. There are 2 categories that those criteria aren't relevant for. They're the 2 categories that relate to selecting an individual rather than a project. The 2 award categories are Planning Champion and Young Planner of the Year. If I deal firstly with the Planning Champion Award category and just outline the 5 criteria that the judges will be using to select an appropriate winner. The first criteria is to demonstrate how they have advocated or enabled good planning outcomes to be achieved. Second criteria is to demonstrate how they have increased awareness in the community about the value of planning and planners. The third is to demonstrate how their influence has had a positive impact on the community or a planning project. The fourth is to demonstrate how the outcome has been realistic and can be replicated. And finally, the fifth is to demonstrate the contribution they've made to planning practice and or learning for the planning profession. Now, the 5 criteria that apply for Young Planner of the Year are as follows. They must demonstrate the planning skills and excellence in the workplace, how their innovation skills, their strategic planning, and their communication skills have led to a high capacity for problem solving. Secondly, must be an activity or a project that further enhances the practice of planning or improves planning processes and makes a valuable contribution to teamwork. Thirdly, the individual's commitment to continuing professional development and involvement with professional institutes, networks, outreach, work, and relevant voluntary activities. Fourthly, the extent to which the individual serves as an advocate and role model for other emerging professionals in the industry or in the workplace. And fifth and finally, the contribution to the planning industry has demonstrated the emerging leadership qualities that the individual has. In closing, I'm hoping that you found this session useful. The judges are all looking forward to receiving very high quality applications, and there's no reason, given those new categories which have introduced some exciting possibilities, that we shouldn't have a bumper crop this year of nominations for the Planning Awards of Excellence. Thank you.